What happens when you lose everything overnight? I went from having my own personal water park to sleeping in a stranger's spare bedroom. My so-called friends abandoned me, and this incredibly annoying guy Jackson wouldn't stop reminding me of everything I'd lost. Then, the richest, most popular boy from the rival school started pursuing me with fancy gifts and roses. But in this small town, nothing is what it seems, especially when it comes to love. And this is how I discovered what really matters. Welcome to Tales Revealed. Let's get started. Hey everyone, I'm Lily from Oak Ridge. I grew up in this tiny town, but moved to the big city with my mom when I was just a kid. Mom was seriously amazing at business. Everything she touched turned to gold. And let me tell you, she spoiled me like crazy. If I even glanced at something I wanted, it would magically appear the next day. For my 8th birthday, I casually mentioned wanting a bigger swimming pool. Next thing I know, Mom had an entire water park built in our backyard. When my friends saw it, we all went wild. "Oh my God, Mom, you're the best," I squealed. "Anything for you, sweetheart," she smiled. "And remember what the doctor said, talk slowly and you won't stutter that much." I had a pretty bad stutter when I was younger. I mostly kept it under control, but whenever I got super excited or nervous, the words would just get stuck. But honestly, that was my only problem. My life was absolute perfection, and everyone at school wished they were me. Until 10th grade, when everything fell apart. Mom's company stock crashed overnight. Just like that, we lost everything. We were going to lose our house, our cars, our whole life. I reached out to my so-called friends for help, and that's when I learned who they really were. "So sorry, Lily, but, we're having money problems too," one said, avoiding eye contact. Another was more blunt. "I want to help, but my dad works really hard. I don't think he'll give your mom money. He always says she got rich by pure luck." I tried to defend her. "My mom works really hard." "Your mom works hard? I don't think so." She cut me off. "And Dad's right, now go away. We don't have all day for you to finish your sentence. It's incredible how quickly people can change when your situation does." We lost the house, and Mom decided the best option was to send me to her hometown to stay with an old friend while she tried to rebuild everything. I hated the idea of being away from her, but I could see how stressed she was, so I agreed. By the time my plane landed, I was already missing home like crazy. Then I spotted this guy about my age holding a sign with my name on it. "Hey, you must be here for me," I said, walking over. "Wow, it's really hot here. Wait, aren't you going to pick up my bags?" "Oh, I'm so sorry. Where are my manners?" he replied sarcastically. "I'm Jackson, and guess what? I'm not your servant, so pick them up yourself." How rude! I gathered my stuff and followed him outside, expecting a car. Instead, there was a rusty old pickup truck. "Where's the car?" I asked. "Gosh, you sound like a broken record," Jackson smirked. "That's your ride, princess. Hop on." The entire drive, I fantasized about punching this Jackson guy in his smug face. Thankfully, his mom, my mom's friend, was absolutely lovely. She hugged me tight the moment she saw me and showed me to a tiny bedroom. "This is so cute. My cat has a room just like this," I said without thinking. "I had to give up my room for this city brat," Jackson muttered. "Look, if you don't like it, you can always sleep in the basement," he added. "It's got lots of space. And pets, too. A family of rats." What a jerk. I don't think I would have survived a single day there if it wasn't for his amazing mom. I mostly tried to pretend Jackson didn't exist. A week later, I started at the local high school and surprisingly made friends right away, but I quickly discovered why all the girls were so eager to befriend me. They wanted to know what it was like living under the same roof as Jackson. Apparently, he was the school's golden boy. "Not great," I'd tell them, because he's I couldn't even finish my sentence because honestly, he was handsome. I just didn't want to admit it. A few days later, our school was having a big football game, and I volunteered as the water girl. Jackson was team captain, and all the girls were chanting his name. So lame. Sure, he was good-looking, but just a little. I was so busy rolling my eyes at him that I didn't notice this player from the other team running toward me. He crashed right into me, sending water bottles flying everywhere. "Are you trying to kill me?" I snapped. "Watch where you're going." "Great advice," he grinned. "I'll remember it for next time." Before running back to the field, he winked at me. The next day, I saw the same player outside my school with a car full of roses. As soon as he spotted me, his silly smile returned. "Hey, beautiful, these are for you," he said, handing me the flowers. "By the way, I'm Ethan." "Wow, that's a lot of roses. Thanks." Ethan was on the football team of a rival school, but he started showing up outside mine every single day, asking me out. I kept saying no, but he wouldn't take no for an answer. Then, one afternoon, I saw a fancy car pull up outside Jackson's house with Ethan in the back seat. He'd somehow found out where I lived, but before he could get out, I watched Jackson's mom walk to the car. The driver handed her an envelope and then drove away. What was that about? Later, I asked Jackson's mom, and she explained that her husband used to work for Ethan's dad. Even after he passed away, they continued helping her with money. They were even paying for Jackson's education. Wow, that made me see Ethan in a completely different light. So the next time he asked me out, I said yes. When Ethan picked me up for our first date, he looked confused. "I'm surprised. This is where you live? How do you know these people?" I told him everything about why I had moved here. "I'm sorry, that sounds tough," he said. "But just be careful of that Jackson guy." "What do you mean?" "Jackson's dad worked for us and we used to play together as kids, but I always felt like he resented us, especially me. Like he hates me because I was born rich and he wasn't. I'm sure he has nothing nice to say about me, even after everything my family does for him." I didn't have trouble believing that. Jackson was always mocking me for being a rich brat too. My date with Ethan was completely unexpected. Instead of taking me to some fancy restaurant, he took me to a soup kitchen for the homeless, and we signed up as volunteers. "I always come here when I want to do something special," he explained. "Feels good, doesn't it?" This boy seemed so sweet. When he dropped me back home, I found Jackson sitting on the porch. "Seriously? You're dating Ethan?" he asked. "Did the rest of the male population die?" "What's your problem? He's a nice guy." "Oh yeah, so where'd you go on your date? Was it an orphanage this time, or a pet shelter to see some poor puppies? That's the kind of stuff he does on first dates to impress girls. I don't expect you to understand what it means to be genuinely nice," I shot back. "I didn't expect you to be this dumb, but hey, you surprised me," he retorted. "Actually, you guys deserve each other. Two spoiled brats." Ethan was right about him. Jackson sounded so judgmental and bitter. I continued dating Ethan and was having a good time, but he was always too generous with fancy dinners and expensive gifts, which made me uncomfortable. "Ethan, I wish you wouldn't. I can't give you gifts like these." "I'm not expecting anything in return," he insisted, "but I can spoil my girlfriend, can I?" He gently kissed me for the first time, but I didn't exactly feel sparks, and I felt like he was falling for me much too fast. The next morning, I didn't see Jackson or his mom anywhere. I found them both in her room. She was in bed with a high fever. When we called the doctor, he said she'd caught some virus and advised us to stay home from school for 2 weeks to avoid spreading it. I really wanted to help somehow, so I made soup for her. I was carrying it up to her room when Jackson stopped me. "What's that?" he asked suspiciously. "It's soup. My mom would give this to me when I was sick." "No thanks. You're not giving that to my mom," he said. "How would you know how to cook anything when you never had to lift a finger?" And suddenly, I snapped. "Jackson, can you just shut up for once? Yeah, I used to be rich. It's not a crime, and I'm not useless or spoiled." I pushed past him and went up with the tray. Later that night, there was a knock on my door. Jackson peeked in. I'm sorry about earlier," he said quietly. "I shouldn't have spoken to you like that." "You shouldn't have, but it's okay. I get that you're worried about your mom." "But I haven't been very nice to you at all. I'll be better." After that day, Jackson and I kind of became friends. We took turns caring for his mom and doing household chores. At night, we'd sit outside and talk for hours. He was sweet and simple, and I was really starting to like him. 2 weeks flew by, and his mom recovered completely. One afternoon, Jackson was working in the garden while I was reading nearby, secretly admiring how good he looked without a shirt on. Suddenly, he called out to me, "Hey, Lily, can you check if the water's coming from the hose? I don't know if it's broken." Just as I picked it up, water came gushing straight at my face. Jackson was laughing hysterically. "Gosh, you are so easy to trick." I picked up a handful of mud as he ran off. As I was chasing him, he tripped and fell, and I seized the opportunity to rub mud all over his face. "What are you doing to her, jerk? We both looked up to see Ethan standing there looking furious. He was about to lunge at Jackson when I jumped between them. "Hey, we were just playing around. I started it," I explained. "And why were you doing that? Did you forget I was picking you up for dinner?" "You're going to tell her what she can and can't do now?" Jackson challenged. The boys looked ready to kill each other, so I dragged Ethan aside and told him to wait in the car while I cleaned up. I had totally forgotten about dinner at his place. Ethan lived in a massive mansion with his dad, who welcomed me warmly. "You're living with Jackson and his mom, right?" he asked. His father was a close friend of mine. "Friend? Come on, Dad." Ethan scoffed. "He was our servant." "Dad's really soft-hearted and likes helping people," Ethan explained to me. "Jackson would have never gone to school if it weren't for him." "And I'm glad I helped," his dad added, "because that boy is hardworking and will make something of himself, unlike some entitled rich kids I know." Ethan's dad excused himself, and as soon as he was gone, Ethan flung his plate against the wall. "This is what happens every time I bring that jerk up. Dad has always liked Jackson more than me." "I'm sure that's not true," I tried to calm him down. "Don't think I'm blind or stupid," he snarled. "You like Jackson more too, don't you? You've been avoiding me for 2 weeks just to spend more time with him? Are you crazy? I told you his mom was unwell." "Liar." I stared at him in shock, and he suddenly seemed to snap out of his anger. "Lily, I'm sorry. I'd like to go home, please." With the driver. I felt shaken on my way back. Ethan was turning out to be really strange. When I got home, Jackson was sitting in the kitchen with an unpleasant expression. "You're back early?" he noted. "Were you waiting for me?" "Yeah, waiting to tell you that you're an idiot for dating Ethan," he said bluntly. "He's fake and horrible. Why can't you see that? Are you blinded by his expensive gifts or too impressed by his fancy cars and mansion?" I was actually going to tell him I was breaking up with Ethan, but his attitude made me so mad. "There you are, back to being a jerk," I snapped. "Mind your own business, Jackson, and don't talk to me." Jackson and I stopped speaking after that. I did break up with Ethan, though. He kept begging me to forgive him, but I stood my ground. He was just too unstable. A few days later, Mom called with amazing news. Her company was back up and running. She wanted me to come home. I decided to leave right after final exams the next week. There was nothing keeping me here anyway. At least, that's what I told myself. After exam week, there was a big football match between our school and Ethan's. I made sure to sit far back in the bleachers so he wouldn't spot me. The game was intense. Jackson and Ethan kept butting heads on the field and almost broke into a fight at one point. But our team won by a large margin, and Ethan stormed off the field in a rage. Jackson looked so happy, and I wanted to congratulate him. I thought I'd catch him outside the locker room, but when I walked into the building, I found 2 guys pinning him against the wall while Ethan punched him repeatedly. "Stop it, Ethan! Don't hurt him!" I screamed. Ethan turned to me with wild eyes. "Oh, how worried you are now! But you didn't care when you hurt me. I know you broke up with me because you have feelings for this worm. After all that money I spent on you, I thought because you were rich once, you'd have some class, but you're just cheap. You're a psycho," I said, trembling with anger. "And yeah, I like Jackson a lot. Now I understand why your dad likes him better." "You'll pay for saying that," Ethan threatened. "I'll make sure Dad stops giving them any money. I'll convince him. You'll see." "No, you won't, Ethan," came a voice from behind us. "Because I've seen everything I needed to, and I'm so disappointed in you." We turned to see Ethan's dad, who had come to watch the match. He looked furious as he grabbed Ethan's arm and led him away. I rushed to Jackson's side. "Are you okay? Your face?" "I'm fine, Lily," he assured me. "I should have listened to you about Ethan. No, I was unfair and mean to you, and I'm really sorry." After a pause, he asked, "About what you said back there. Is it true?" "Which part?" "The part where you said you like me a lot." I felt my cheeks get hot. "Yeah, I like you. Big deal." Like me? Because I like you." He grinned. "I guess it's just you then." I smiled back. He pulled me in for a kiss, and it was absolutely perfect. Sometimes life takes away everything you thought mattered, only to show you what really does. I went from having everything to having nothing, and then to having the one thing money could never buy. Real love. And that's worth more than all the water parks in the world. If you loved this story, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more. And hey, don't miss the video that's right here on your screen. It's one you won't want to skip. See you in the next one.